to that apple at that point in time. Oh, did you guys hear that? Live streaming is
Whoa.
on. Okay, I still need to swallow that piece of apple. One sec. Highly professional. Okay, welcome to the GNU Radio Project Call, October 2019. First of all, we did not forget last month's project call. We deliberately skipped it because of GRCon, which we will talk about in a sec. And we are going to kick off this call with a couple of announcements. So first of all, the free software radio dev room has been accepted again for FOSDEM, and we're very happy about that. And the free software radio dev room is a bit of a mini conference at FOSDEM regarding all topics software, radio, and just radio related. But they have to. The common denominator is free software and radio. So I urge people to take a look at last year's schedule and the year before to get an idea about what kind of things we talk about. But we talk about all sorts of things, such as telecommunication software, of which there is more and more open source software, signal processing stuff. So you can just talk about GNU Radio. Marcus might talk about just GNU Radio himself, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
Space stuff is always welcome. Like, honestly, like I just have that personal bias that it has space in it, and it's more likely to get accepted just because of that. But we had some really interesting talks there. Like SATCOM related stuff,
Radar.
whatever.
Yeah,
radar, anything that's radio. Like there's antennas and free software involved.
Yeah, exactly. It's not even software. If you're doing like something with RF and it has signal processing or whatever, hit us up.
Well, and it does have to do with free software because that's the point of FOSDEM.
Sure. Yeah.
But let's say you're a university researcher and you're publishing your research also as free software, then that would count, assuming like the topic is actually interesting. So yes, please participate. So we are accepting submissions for talks already through Pentabarf, which is the website, the tool that FOSDEM uses to organize their talks. And we're just very excited for any kind of submission. So the last couple of years, we've had a lot of returning people, like people who talk every year, and but we always had new people as well. And I like that mix, and I hope we continue doing that. So the date for FOSDEM, I think that's probably very important, is I think February. Oh,
yeah,
look that up.
It is February 1st and 2nd. Yeah,
1st and 2nd, exactly. Yeah, next year. So it's always the first weekend in February, and it's in Brussels. It's always in Brussels. It's always in the same venue too, in ULB, which is, by the way, if you've never been there, it's packed. Like it's getting fuller and fuller. So one thing I recommend if you go to FOSDEM is like arrange ahead of time for like meeting people and stuff like that. But it is a great event. One of the days, and I think it's Sunday, so it's Saturday and Sunday, and on Sunday is the free radio room, and then there's plenty of other good talks. So it's a really great event. It's free, assuming you can get to Brussels somehow, and we are eagerly awaiting your submissions for talks. All right, what else do we have? So here's my list. Oh, yikes. Okay, so GRCon 2020 is also now fixed. So I just pulled up the date. I'm so badly organized today. And of course, I can't find my tab anymore. So it's going to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's going to be the 3rd week of September. And the exact dates are, drum roll while I pull up the link again. Oh, come on. Does someone have the date and can save me from embarrassing? No. I don't know, 3rd week of September.
Yeah. And it's gonna be large, like it's gonna be at least as large as this year was. So if you're into software-defined radio and free software and everything that has to do with it, come or submit a talk. There's going to be an audience of about 300 people if experience tells us anything. So book early.
Yeah, we'll probably have a similar price hike as we had this year. So by that we mean that the price gets progressively more expensive as you approach the date. So it's something you want to make sure. So, GRCon 2020. I can't find this bloody date. I know it's the third week of September.
Marcus.
Yeah.
September 14th through 18th.
There we go. Thank you. 14th through 18th. Okay. So, and we had a great GRCon this year, and we'll talk about that in a sec. I feel like GRCon doesn't need further explanation in this particular call. And then the final announcement we have is the SDR Makerspace conference. So this one, I actually have the date up. It's November 28 and 29 in Switzerland, in Payerne. I don't know where that is, but it's Switzerland. Switzerland isn't that big, so somewhere in Switzerland. This is sort of a space-related conference. So the Makerspace is a bit of a pun, I guess. Although the Makerspace is not the name of the conference. It's the name of the group that organizes it. But there is an actual event, the SDR Makerspace Conference, 28-29 of September this year. Also free, but you need to register, and they have limited spots. And there is already an agenda posted. Some very interesting talks there, SDR related. We have some people that you might know, like Manolis, for example, will be talking. But also, you might know other people. And the topics are just various SDR, open source, space related talks. So very cool event, and we recommend that you go there. Okay, so that's it announcement-wise. I already mentioned we had a GRCon last month, which is why we did not have a project call. So GRCon last month was in Huntsville, Alabama. It was organized by the GNU Radio GRCon committee, which is a group of volunteers, and they did a great job, I thought, of organizing the conference, setting it all up. Yeah. It was the conference venue was right next to a bunch of Saturn V rockets, which was really cool. But I think even more awesome than the view at the venue was the content and the people that came there. So the slides for all the talks have already been posted on our website, and the talks will follow. I don't have a timeline on that, but
soon.
Can't be that long.
Yeah.
Soon TM. How did you guys like GRCon?
I mean, it was kind of awesome. Like, this is my Let Me Lie 5th GRCon, and I've got mute. Awesome.
Well, you got muted.
Yeah.
I tried to mute myself.
Okay.
No, I heard you.
Okay, awesome. So, and aside from the fact that, considering it's started as a really small conference, the quality of content is awesome. Like, people actually go there to present something that they're passionate about, that they actually worked with, and not something that they actually just need to present somewhere. So it really pays to go there. And I mean, for me as a technical person, I always find people to talk about and, have a conversation that I take things from that I can take home and actually put into my work. So that's the best case. Like, that's the optimum in conference that you can have.
Yeah. Well, it's a great conference, and we hope we have another great one next year. But we had about 330 people, I think. The number might be slightly off, but that's sort of the kind of size that you can expect. All right, we have one topic that we sort of we don't really have like hard facts here, but this is basically our response to a topic that came up on the mailing list about how hard it is to install GNU Radio. And the main reason we want to bring it up in this call is that we want to, acknowledge this. Like, we know this is a problem, and it's something that's been on our radar for a long time. And we do intend to fix it, but we also intend to do many other things in GNU Radio, and most of us are doing this on the side or as volunteers, or maybe partially as part of our jobs. But it's a difficult problem to solve. Like getting good documentation right is a skill that you need to learn and acquire. Like people might not have it, but we don't want to blow over the fact that this is a problem. We know this is a problem, and we wish we're not a problem, but we can't really fix it all by ourselves. So the best time to write a beginner's tutorial is after you just learned something yourself, and for many of us, that's too long in the past. So that's one thing where I'm just gonna ask for help with respect to documentation. And we have a docs channel on Slack for those who go to Slack. And and Mark who is our documentation main officer. I don't know if Mark's on the call right now.
Nope.
But he's in that channel all the time. So if you want to help, and you don't know exactly how, like going into the hash or the pound docs channel in the GNU Radio site and say, hey, can I help? Like, tell me what to do. That's a great thing. And like I don't read every message post in that channel, but it's like just recently some people joined, among them a guy called Barry, but there were also others, and who said, yeah, I want to volunteer, and that was really, really cool. Like, very happy about that. And then of course, like the actual installation of GNU Radio could also be made easier. One thing we do want to work on is just proper packages for the most popular distros, but tools like PyBombs also have problems. And like with the advent of GNU Radio 3.8, that became even harder, because now PyBombs needs to do different stuff for GNU Radio 3.7 and 3.8, and that's throwing us off yet again. So any help with PyBombs is really, really, really appreciated as well. Marcus, you sound like you more at
school. Yeah. So basically, I'm all the same. I want GNU Radio to be useful for as many people as possible, and that means it needs to be installable. And I'm really, I really listen to everyone who's telling me how hard a time he had at installing GNU Radio. Now, one thing that we will probably never achieve is writing documentation that is foolproof and works for longer than 3 months. That's simply not how computers work these days. Like operating systems get upgrades, things change, and basically also, if I can write a explanation that someone without prior experience in using computers can use to successfully install GNU Radio on their machine, that probably means I shouldn't be writing that documentation. Maybe I should too, but most probably I should be putting that information into a script and make that installation even easier for them. And that's actually exactly what Linux distributions do, and what people like NuGet/Chocolate Lee on Windows, and MacPorts and Homebrew on OS X, and basically all these tools do is make it easier for a user to install something congruent and working by taking the load of knowing how to build software, how to make software talk to each other, and putting them into packages. So for me as a maintainer, I'm very happy that we are at a point where GNU Radio has been cleaned up a lot, and that's one of the big things that we actually achieved with GNU Radio 3.8. It wasn't possible before. It's cleaned up so far that we can probably be rolling our own package repos, which means that in the future you will be able to install stuff from some repo that just has our nightly build sets. So you no longer get the problem that, hey, I'm running a stable Linux distro, say what's kind of old at this point, like Ubuntu 1904, and so I can't get GNU Radio 3.8 or 3.22, whatever is recent at that point. You will hopefully be able to get something that we officially built ourselves and hopefully works. And then, of course, whenever you send in a bug report, we can say, oh, this actually doesn't work after we've installed it with a package that we are in control of, which very likely means that something is broken on our side, whereas the community workload, and that's something that's not very much me talking as a maintainer, because I'm happy about every single bug report, but me talking as someone who's part of the awesome GNU Radio community, says the community workload of supporting people installing stuff on wildly different machines with wildly different libraries and partially installed stuff and so forth is very very high. So I hope that in the long run this reduces whatever we spend in time helping people, and of course makes it easier for people. So yeah, that's my hope here, and I hope that kind of explains why we're not doing so well on the documentation side, because we need to catch up on all these fronts, making things installable, making the software better, helping people, and there's only so many hours in a day. So yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I think I'm just going to summarize here. Like, we know it's a problem. We don't want it to be a problem. The very last thing we want to do is exclude beginners. Like, we feel really awful about that. But we really need help. And I can't really be more specific and say, like, if you have time to spend on documentation, just like ping us, and we can put you to work, as they say. And if you don't like writing documentation, like fixing pi bombs is another way to help. Or yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, like, you might have very specific interests. Like, you want GNU Radio specifically on Windows, and if you just let us know and say, okay, like, I want this to work, but I also have time to help make it work, then we can definitely use your help. Okay, I think that sort of covers that, right, Marcus?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, I do want to make a quick amendment. So to our FOSDEM announcement, so we are also working on a Hackfest in close vicinity to FOSDEM. The details aren't fixed yet, so I can't really talk about them right now. But if you have vacation time to spend, or maybe you can argue that you want to make a work trip out of it. There might be opportunity to hack on GNU Radio outside of FOSDEM, but like I said, in close vicinity, both space and time wise. And if you're interested, then let us know, so we can keep you in the loop. Okay, that's actually all we had for today. Final chance for people from the auditorium to speak up.
Yeah, I'm gonna check. No, there's nothing in IRC. By the way, I was talking to Martin before this call started. Whoever is listening to the stream or to the recording later on, this is a project call. This is not meant to be like a one-way street where we just advertise GNU Radio, because honestly we like GNU Radio and we already knew that. So we actually want to be challenged, and we want to have people, come in and say, hey, I want to talk about my project or whatever. This is an open platform, so do contact us if you want to be on the call for some reason.
Yeah, good point, Marcus. Some people jokingly call us the GNU Radio podcast, but I would much rather it be the GNU Radio conversation. Because as you guys can imagine, Marcus and I speak also outside of this call. And so it's just the two of us rambling. Well, I like to ramble, but I don't know how useful that is. Okay, good point, Marcus. So yeah, thanks everyone for listening and tuning in, using GNU Radio, being part of the community, submitting bug reports, submitting code, submitting emails to the mailing list, just being on Slack, or just using GNU Radio and talking about it. All of those things are highly appreciated. And well, let's have a great another month until the next project call.
Awesome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.